Hi everybody, it's Andre Regan from MS Solutions Training again. Hope you're all well. And today we are going to talk about debriefing. So let's consider this situation. You've had your crisis or disruptive event, you've responded to that crisis, and you've recovered from the crisis. So basically you've dealt with it. You take a deep breath and a big sigh of relief, and quite rightly so. But you ask yourself, what else is there to be done? What more should I be doing? Because at MS Solutions Training, we would argue that now is probably one of the most important parts of dealing with that crisis and anything in the future. Don't forget, you were thrown into a panic, a mayhem, whatever, because something's happened unexpected. It's unprecedented, possibly, and certainly unwanted, and you've dealt with it now. But you've got to ask yourself, did you deal with it well? Are there lessons you could have learned? And so on and so forth. So by debriefing the event, what you do, you evaluate how you did and how that might help you in the future. So today, we are going to go and talk about debriefing, its importance, the various types of debriefing, and then we will look at a model that will help you to structure your debriefing process. So, we start off. What is debriefing? So, a debrief or an incident report is used to learn lessons from a crisis, incident or disruptive event. I use those three terms because everyone has different definition of what they might be, as we previously alluded to. But it's an opportunity for those who were involved to share their experiences about what went well and, more honestly, what didn't go so well. And why do they do that? It's because so that they can make improvements, changes in their response plans or management plans, their procedures, their training, any activity that raises their awareness of dealing with that incident or dealing with another such incident in the future. And what this does overall, it improves the organisation's ability to respond to the future events, not just internally, but also, and some would say quite importantly, with external partners. So the importance of debriefing. Debriefing after an incident is important for individuals, teams, and also the organisations involved. So on an individual level, it's about emotional processing. It's about their well-being. And if you think about it, debriefing should provide a safe space for individuals to express their concerns, their emotions and their experiences related to that incident. Now, this is crucial for helping them to process trauma, mitigate stress, prevent PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. Very, very difficult to say, but PTSD, everyone will be aware of that expression, I'm sure. It's about individual learning and growth. Now, it's for individuals to reflect on the incident, learn from their own experiences and the experiences of others, and identify their own personal areas for improvement. Now, this empowers them to feel more prepared, and it helps them, hopefully, builds their confidence in handling similar situations in the future. So it's about trying to future-proof what they do. On a team level, team communication and collaboration, debriefing fosters that open communication and collaboration within teams, that honesty, that transparency. Because by discussing the incident together, team members actually gain a better understanding of each other's perspective and actions, not just their own. And that could lead to improved teamwork generally, and also coordination in the future. Identifying areas for team improvement, similar to the personal improvement, but it allows teams to collectively analyse how they dealt with it, how they responded, and identify areas where processes, protocols or communications could be improved. This can lead to the development of more effective strategies for handling future incidents. And what it also does, it also tests, because assumptions have been tested, assumptions that were made in previous planning, then one can factor that in and learn from that to make improvements to the teams and the team's response. And organisational learning culture. So by conducting regular debriefing, this establishes a culture of learning within our organisation, continuous learning, continuous improvement. So when debriefing is seen as a valuable tool for growth and improvement, rather than just a blame game, rather than a blame culture, what it does, it should encourage individuals to be more open and honest, and ultimately lead to better overall performance, not just for that instant, but in their daily work. So let's look at the types of debrief or debriefing processes we may encounter. So the first being a hot debrief. This is normally held immediately after an event, and it's before anyone leaves a location, effectively, and it gives those involved, the participants, the opportunity to highlight any immediate issues and concerns, especially if there are safety factors or they've had to deal with some sort of safety factor. An interview. These are normally held within a short period following an event, and they are normally on a one-to-one basis or within small groups. And those small groups might be clustered around a particular function or a particular activity. A formal debrief is normally held within a short period of time following the event. This will address wider organisational issues rather than the individual or team or group concerns. So it's a more holistic look at that event. Surveys, these can be issued to obtain feedback from those who took part in the event, particularly useful for those who prefer to respond in writing. They may not be comfortable in airing their views publicly. And it also provides an opportunity for reflective responses, so people can reflect, take time out, reflect on what took place, because it could be that those thoughts didn't come immediately after that event. And post-event reports. The results of a debriefing process should be used to prepare some sort of report, and that should include all aspects of the event. This should ensure that any lessons identified can be accepted and addressed by the organisation, and it is essential that all levels of the organisation have access to the report and its findings, as there may be changes to the organisation's business planning and day-to-day operations. It may be that far-reaching. So let's now look at our debrief model. So this comes in various parts that you'd expect to see in a typical crisis, the stage of a crisis. So you would go from normality to discovery of something that's taken place. And then you would verify that that is a crisis or significant disruption, your initial response to it, scene management or dealing with the incident itself. Then you're looking at recovery, restoration, back to normality or new normality. So at each stage of that crisis process, you would be asking what went well, what areas could you improve upon, what were your actions, and I suppose more importantly, in hindsight, what would your actions have been if you knew what you know now, knew then. So in looking at those various stages, you can then break it further into the topics for each part. So the systems, your plans, your processes, what are known as grab bags and battle boxes. These are your stores of equipment, such as maps, tab bars, lights, batteries, all sorts of things that you are going to need as a team to deal with that incident, either on site or off site. Grab means obviously to go. A battle box is probably bigger and normally situated in a building somewhere. So you look at your systems, you look at your team and how it performed, what the mood was, how it worked well together or didn't work well together, the commitment of those within the team, and the resilience. And what we mean by resilience is, let's take, for instance, you want a specific person from HR. Well, let's assume that that person isn't available. So did you have a deputy who deputised for that person? Did someone from a completely different department undertake that role? Whatever it might have been. Communication. We could have a whole lesson actually on communication. But this is both internal and external. What you're telling your own staff and what you're telling the outside world. Now, the outside world could include stakeholders, the parties. We'll come on to a few of those very shortly. But internal, external communication. What were your resources like? Did you have sufficient equipment? Was it the right equipment? What about premises? If you had alternative premises, were they suitable? Did they have facilities? Did they allow the staff to mobilise around that area? Did you have enough staff? Did you have enough staff from various departments or a particular department? And so on and so forth. So again, you'd be looking at that at each stage, as we saw on the previous slide, of the various stages of the crisis management. And people, we touched upon this, so the CMT, that is what we call a crisis management team. But you may well have a different terminology, instant team, a business continuity team, a whole raft of different things. But the team that would deal with the response to that incident. So those people, your wider organisation, your other staff. Externally, your emergency service personnel, customers, suppliers, and other interested parties. So again, you would look at each of these topics for each stage of the crisis, as we said before, and you would be asking yourself the questions: what went well, what didn't go so well, what actions did we undertake, and what should we have undertaken in hindsight. So that brings this short talk on debriefing almost to a close. If you want more information, please reach out to us at MS Solutions Training. But before you go, I'd invite you to ask yourself the following. How can you prepare yourself, your team and your organisation for the next unprecedented, unwanted or unexpected disruptive event? And do you understand the principles, strategies and techniques of crisis management? Please just stay and watch a short video which might provide some of those answers.
Imagine that a disaster strikes your company. It could be a data breach, a product recall, a PR nightmare or a natural disaster. Your phone blows up, the media is on your tail, and your customers are panicking. Are you prepared? If not, MS Solutions Training's Crisis Management course can be your lifeline. In just 3 days, you'll learn the phases of crisis management, from identifying the threat to restoring your reputation. How to build a rock-solid crisis management team, from executives to frontline staff, everyone will know their role. Effective communication strategies, calm the storm with clear, concise messaging that protects your brand. Real-world exercises, put your skills to the test in simulated crisis scenarios. The course is accredited by Highfield, who are a leading provider of compliance training. The course is adaptable and can be tailored to your specific organization's needs. With MS Solutions Training, you'll be confident and prepared to weather any storm. They offer a free consultation to discuss your organization's unique crisis management challenges. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Enroll in the Crisis Management course today.
So thank you for watching that short video. All the material today has been taken from the Crisis Management course that was mentioned, and that course was written and is delivered by MS Solutions Training. The QR code on this page and the website address will take you to our website, which will give you more information about that course and other services and products that we can offer. I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking you for listening to this short talk, and we hope to see you again in the very near future. Thank you once again, and goodbye.